This month, on a special Best of edition of Talking Pictures with Neil Rosen, we have interviews with many award-winning stars. Julianne Moore talks about her movie, Gloria Bell. Mark Ruffalo discusses his environmental drama, Dark Waters. Director Quentin Tarantino on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And Cynthia Erivo talks about playing Harriet Tubman. We've got all that, and many more celebrity interviews coming up. I'm Neil Rosen, and welcome to Talking Pictures. It's our Critics Roundtable show, and this month we're looking back at some of my favorite interviews from the past year with many top stars and directors. They're going to be talking about their recent films, and as always, we have our panel discussing those movies. Now, most of the movie theaters are all still closed because of the pandemic, and if you're stuck at home and craving some entertainment, you could watch any of these films because they're all currently streaming. So let's kick things off with a look at something called Gloria Bell, starring Julianne Moore.
You come here a lot?
Yes. No, not a lot. I mean, sometimes.
What's your name?
Gloria.
And I don't know if I'm being foolish.
Hello? Are you asking me out?
Love is in the air.
A little more.
Well, despite having a feminist theme, you're going to be like stunned, but I love this movie, and I was really thrilled we picked it as one of them. Despite being a virtual clone of the 2013 Chilean film Gloria, it managed to find its own footing, I'll say, on the dance floor, because the two completely original performances at the lead. One is from Julianne Moore, who's the straight-laced office worker by day and a dance club regular, but the other is by John Turturro, who tries to sweep her off her feet. There's nice supporting work from Brad Garrett and Michael Cera, and I think this is going to be remembered at the end of the year for the Independent Spirit Awards.
It should be. I mean, I found this film a revelation. It's got stunning performances from both Julianne Moore and Turturro, but honestly, just a stunning level of sympathy to that moment in a woman's life that's almost never captured on screen, which is the sexuality of a menopausal woman. I mean, that's really what this film is about, even though they never really say menopause, and it's amazing to see it on screen.
Mike?
Well, I agree. I think Julianne Moore really can do no wrong, and I like the original film quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
And generally, when they remake it, they do a lot of things wrong. I think this is one of the few times.
The 70s disco soundtrack is great. It's great to see a movie about grown-ups for grown-ups. And, you know, Julianne Moore, again, to echo all of your points, she's just so amazing. I mean, you know, just the expression on her face without dialogue, you could see what's in her head portraying that character. Yep. I mean, she plays Gloria. Julianne Moore is glorious. And when I sat down with Julianne Moore...
I see what you did there.
See what you
did there. See what I did there? Okay, well,
Did you say that to her when you sat down with her recently?
Well, I did sit down with her recently, Bill, and I talked about Gloria Bell. Let's take a look at that interview.
I really admire this character. I mean, what I love about her is how committed she is to living her life, you know, and how invested she is in her relationships. You know, you see her with her kids and with her friends and with her mom and with her boyfriend. And you see how invested she is in every single moment of her life, and the fact that she's kind of indomitable. You know, she has a lot of joy, this character. So in that sense, I find her incredibly admirable.
So this is based on a Chilean film from 2013, and it's directed by the same director. Did you see that movie before you signed on to do this?
I had seen the movie, but by the time that we actually made Gloria Bell, it had been 3 years. So I didn't go back and reference it. I think most actors are interested in things, but they don't want to be influenced by them. And as Sebastian said, you know, we weren't doing a remake, we were actually making something. This is something with an entirely different setting in the United States rather than in Santiago, and with an entirely different cast, an extraordinary cast.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is Quentin Tarantino's latest film. It stars Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio, and it takes place in 1969 in Los Angeles. Rafer, tell me about it.
Like you said, Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt, two of the biggest stars of the day. Here they're playing sort of minor celebrities. DiCaprio is a former Western television star trying to make it big. Brad Pitt is his stunt double, kind of a Kato Kaelin figure, stunt double / gopher. And this is taking place in '69, as you say. DiCaprio's next door neighbor happens to be Sharon Tate, the doomed actress who will cross paths with the Manson family later that year. There are moments in this film, watching it, where I was so excited because it felt like Tarantino is back. The movies are saved. We're all okay. This movie is so exciting, so fun. And then there are moments where I kept thinking, this is getting a little slack, a little lazy. Tarantino, I know, always has a final cut. Not sure that's the best thing. I think he could use an editor. But overall, I was really happy to see this film, even though there were a lot of things I objected to. The ending I still have sort of mixed feelings about, but I think I was just so happy to see a love letter to the movies by someone who really loves the movies more than most.
I'm with Rafer. I'm kind of a fan of the guy, but this is a long, shaggy dog story, and I'm going to say something really politically incorrect. I wish Harvey Weinstein had gotten his hands on this because he would have taken 20 or 25 minutes out of it.
But you're right, though. You're right.
He's the guy that made all of his movies a little tighter. And I also think the time frame, it's told over like 6 or 7 months, should have been like 2 or 3 days. I think that would have helped it a lot. That said, I was excited during parts of it.
Quentin Tarantino has said this may be his second to last film, and I would think that would be great, because he's clearly sort of outlived his relevance and his welcome, as far as I'm concerned. This movie is as ponderous and bloated as its main characters, which is pretty ponderous and bloated. And I feel like when you really tease out its underlying messages without getting into any spoilers, what it's essentially suggesting is that the golden era of Hollywood was when people of color and women knew their place and good old white boys still came out on top. And it really irritated me. I feel like there's a conservatism to this film that's deplorable, actually.
Okay, all right. Let me start out by saying that Quentin Tarantino is probably my favorite contemporary director.
Congratulations.
And I think this is a flawed but fascinating film. It is too long. There are movies within the movie that could have been trimmed down tremendously. I mean, there's like 5-minute segments of Leonardo DiCaprio on the set, and he flubs a line. I think we could have seen like 30 seconds of that instead of a 5-minute fake movie within the movie. And this happens a lot in the film. But there are some scenes in this that are just riveting. I mean, there's a scene when Leonardo DiCaprio is talking to an 8-year-old actress on the set that just like blew me away.
That went on too long.
There's a scene Bruce Lee and Brad Pitt having a face-off that was incredible.
That's such an offensive scene when you really think about it.
Brad Pitt, who's the heart and soul of this movie, visits the Manson compound to see Bruce Dern, who used to like own the compound.
As George Spahn, yeah.
Is terrific. Great. But I have to say that the last, whatever goes on in this movie, the last 20 minutes are amazing. I won't tell you what it is, but it's violent and hysterically funny at the same time. I do recommend the movie. It's not Pulp Fiction or Django or Inglourious Bastards on that level, but I think it's very
It's more
good.
like Jackie Brown.
Jackie Brown is great.
Well, once upon a time,
Inglourious Bastards.
Well, once upon a time in New York, I sat down with Quentin Tarantino to talk about his writing and directing process. Let's take a look. How important is humor to you when you're writing this stuff and when you're making these movies?
It's about as important gets, because if you were to break down what it is I do, one of the most important things that I do in my movies is I get you to laugh, and getting you to laugh at stuff that's not funny. One, that takes a talent, and two, there's also kind of it's a charge. As for an audience member when that happens, one, it's funny, and two, you're questioning, should I even laugh at this? But yet I'm extracting it anyway. I always hear laughs when I'm writing my scripts, when I'm shooting it, I'm hearing the audience laugh. When I'm editing it, I'm hearing the audience laugh. That's why it's I don't get my final payoff until I watch it with an audience.
Moving along, here's our discussion about the movie A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, along with my interview with Matthew Rhys.
Well, I think you're going to enjoy this, Neil. It's a very, very simple motion picture. This is Tom Hanks, obviously, as Mr. Rogers, but the real story here is Matthew Rhys plays an Esquire writer who's been assigned to him to do a 400-word sort of bio that turns into a 10,000-word bio. This is because Mr. Rogers, in the Matthew Rhys character, recognizes someone that needs some help. He's got a problem with his father, Chris Cooper, at home, and Mr. Rogers won't let him go. The Matthew Rhys character keeps saying there must be a dark side to this guy. We don't see it. This is the most unexpected movie of the year in the execution. They use some of the sets around the neighborhood of Mr. Rogers to tell us when people are flying from city to city. I found that enchanting. I thought at first, man, this is hogwash, and by the end, it sort of enwrapped me or sort of warmed me. I like this movie a lot.
It's so nostalgic and so clever with the narrative, how they follow the format of the original TV program.
Yep.
And they really do play with the narrative in some unexpected ways where it goes into hyper-real territory. There's some puppet
Not
imagery.
everybody will like that.
but
I thought it was very clever.
You know, as I was watching the feature-length film, I was saying to myself, why did they make this film when the documentary "Won't You Be My Neighbor" was so much better to me?
It was so much better.
It just says everything about Mr. Rogers that you need to know. Here, we really don't know much about Mr. Rogers outside of the behind the scenes and maybe some revelations here and there. But the movie's really about the journalist, not about Mr. Rogers. And I just felt like they couldn't find the story about Fred Rogers to say in this feature-length film, and I'm mixed about it.
That's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing.
You get a sense of the way
you might
that he
think
works.
that this is blasphemous that I'm going to attack the holier-than-thou Mr. Rogers, but it's not so much Mr. Rogers as Tom Hanks' portrayal. I mean, he sounded like a cross between Rain Man and Chauncey Gardner from the movie Being There.
That's what he sounds like. Come on.
I don't know. I've seen
it's the McFeely Good Movie of the Year, Neil.
Well, I don't know. I wasn't buying
have a
this.
cold
It was a little
heart,
too over
Neil.
the top, and it did get me emotionally at the end. So I don't hate the film, but there were parts of this that I
We
found
don't
to
like
be.
him, do we? No, we don't. It's time for Neil to go away.
There are parts that I found to be a little bit like contrived and unrealistic. Anyway, I liked Matthew Rhys's performance, and I sat down with Matthew Rhys and talked to him about the movie. Let's take a look. How familiar, listen, you're from Wales.
Yes.
I mean, were you familiar with Mr. Rogers at all before you signed on to this?
I wasn't, sadly, and poorer for it. I'd never heard of Fred Rogers until the script came through, and I asked who was Fred Rogers, only to be met by a chorus of gasps, and then, you know, dove my own deep dive into his world and who he was, and was astounded by what he did. The greater moment for me, having a 3-year-old son, was introducing him to Fred Rogers as my own little experiment, and was astounded with the results.
Well, how accurate is the story to what actually happened to the character that you play?
I mean, it's loosely based. Basically, yes, Tom Juno did interview Fred, was working for Esquire, was sought out by Fred to interview him over a period of days, and had this transformational moment in his life where Fred Rogers had an incredible impact on him.
Next up is the film Dark Waters, along with my interview with its star, Mark Ruffalo.
Who knew Aaron Brockovich had a brother, Eric Brockovich? Because that's basically what this movie is. You've got Mark Ruffalo as a defense lawyer who takes on this environmental case against DuPont and is supported by his wife, Anne Hathaway, and is pretty much supported by Tim Robbins, who works in the firm, and lets him go for almost 11 years on this project, giving him a lot of incentive and cutting his salary along the way.
Jack?
You know, it's interesting. When I grow up, I want to be like Robert Bilott, which is the lawyer that Mark Ruffalo played. I mean, talk about selfless heroes. And I think that's the best thing about this film in particular, is how a man just who's a corporate lawyer decides to go against the corporate system and bucks the system by helping out a farmer selflessly. I mean, his family was in jeopardy, his career was in jeopardy. I think he was broke by the end of the movie, but all with the sense to help people out. And I think we need more movies like this.
Yeah,
it's a David and Goliath story where Goliath prevails at the end. This is a battle that's still being waged, and you consider the fact that it was over a decade, it's still going. I think a great touch is that they filmed on location in Cincinnati and West Virginia, and the actual locations where this took place. It gives it an extra layer of authenticity to connect to. And also there's people who were involved in the real story that are cast in minor roles.
Yeah, that's right.
That was
Little
such
cameos.
a moving touch, and it does give a voice to the women. Anne Hathaway could have just been the stock wife character, but their partnership and the dynamics of their marriage, I think, ended up being one of the more...
Yeah, well, unlike The Report, this one does have character development.
Absolutely.
And you see Mark Ruffalo, who
was great, by the way. His performance was
his
incredible.
obsession with this case, which it is hurting his marriage, and it's taking him out of dealing with his children because he's so consumed with this. And as you said, Bill, right, he gets pay cut after pay cut because this thing is going, and they're in financial straits. And, the thing about this movie is there's something in the movie that says, that 99% of the people on this planet have this chemical that's in Teflon called, whatever the initials of this chemical are.
It's not sticking to your brain right now.
Right. But Tim Robbins told me, because I did the junket on this, that they actually are still making this stuff. They rebranded it, and it's just not called Teflon anymore, but it's how horrifying is that? But it's an eye-opening film, and it's an important film. And at this particular junket, where I talked to Tim Robbins, I actually talked to Mark Ruffalo as well. Let's take a look at a clip of that. With Spotlight in this, which is a great thing, you seem to be attracted to doing films that bring to light these atrocities that happen in the world.
Yeah, I do see, movies could be great for entertainment, but they can also be great to tell us the stories about our lives and to open up conversations that, you can get to politically, but tend to divide us from a political point of view. But when you tell them peer to peer, neighbor to neighbor, in a movie, all of a sudden it opens our hearts and our minds to these things that we really need to be discussing right now. I don't know about you, but every other day I hear about someone that I know with some cancer, some endocrine, some neurological thing, some endocrine system disease. I mean, we're sick. And America in particular is a very sick nation. I mean, you could see by our healthcare costs. So yeah, we are sick and we're getting sicker is the real truth.
Next up's a new biopic about Harriet Tubman called Harriet.
You tried to destroy my family, but you can't. You tried to destroy my people, but you won't. God has shown me the future, and my people are free. My people are free!
Lisa.
In a perfect world, there would be many biopics already of Harriet Tubman, but unbelievably, this is the first one. And here is the thing. It's directed by the director of Eve's Bio, Casey Lemons, who weirdly has not made a movie since then, even though that one was great. Harriet Tubman is played by Cynthia Erivo, who is fantastic in Widows. And the two of them together really captured Tubman's bravery and heart. It's a profoundly inspiring story of how this young slave woman not only freed herself, but countless other slaves. But, and unfortunately there is a but, the filmmaking is pretty formulaic. I would say what the kids like to call basic. The power of Harriet Tubman does shine here, but I was disappointed. I just felt like it could have been a finer vehicle. Every flashback she has is the exact same flashback.
Yeah, this is a movie about slavery, but put on the format of a Lifetime movie.
Absolutely.
It's very Lifetime-y.
Yeah,
very Lifetime.
With a bigger budget and better cinematography,
And it's a huge disappointment for me. I mean, when you compare this movie to Birth of a Nation or 12 Years a Slave, it has no gravitas whatsoever. And you kind of just lose yourself. I mean, it's not memorable in any way, and it's barely passable.
Also, no disrespect to the rest of the actors, it's like they cast the lead and she's great, and then everybody else was just kind of an afterthought. It's not. I agree with the Lifetime thing completely, and I also think a lot of the dramatic moments in this film are missing. They're not there. We see how she escaped once, but then every time she goes back and brings other people, it just cuts from "you want to go" to "hey, we're free."
I mean, what are they going to do? Have that exact moment?
No,
but I mean, there were options.
They showed you where
there were places where there could have been a lot more tension, and it wasn't there. And that's a real disservice to this story.
No, well, look, I agree with you, Jack, that it is, as I said, a Lifetime type of movie. But that said, I think it's a good primer if you don't know this story. And okay, so it's not the most innovative way of storytelling, but I think it's piloted by Cynthia Erivo's performance.
She's great.
And I think she's terrific. And I think Janelle Monáe also gives a very good performance as the
freed woman who helps her rehabilitate. You know what? She's always amazing. Janelle is an amazing actor. She doesn't get enough credit for that.
All right. Well, anyway, I sat down with Cynthia Erivo and talked to her about the movie Harriet. Let's take a look. Did you feel the weight of responsibility of doing this? I mean, Harriet Tubman, to my knowledge, never had a feature-length film made about her. So was there like all this pressure to get it right? And if you don't get it right, is that going on in your head?
Yeah, I mean, I felt the responsibility, but that doesn't frighten me. That probably pushes me and makes me more determined to do the things I need to in order to try to get it right. And it means I just put everything I am into it. Hopefully, that served me well, because you never know until you see something. But, I did have that in my mind that I wanted to really get this right and try and do her justice and, tell her story.
Let's look at another recent theatrical film. This one's about William Shakespeare. It's called All Is True. Bill?
Kenneth Branagh has done so many Shakespearean-related movies and plays that the only thing he really had left to do was to play William Shakespeare. So that's what he does in this. We're going back to his life in 1613. The Globe Theatre has just burned down, and he goes back to his dysfunctional family, played by wife Judi Dench and daughter Catherine Wilder. He's haunted by the death of his son Hamnet. This was written by a stand-up comedian, Ben Elton, out of London. And
it's real funny.
Well, it's not funny.
Yeah, laugh a
It's
minute.
not supposed to be. The guy lost his son. Look, this isn't for everybody. I thought it was beautiful to look at. Sarian McKellen has a great 10-minute kind of a
10
cameo
hour?
in it.
10 hour?
No. This is
That's the best scene in the movie.
Look, no, I gotta say, if anybody was gonna make a movie about Shakespeare, it should be Kenneth. And I think that this is a really fine film, and I recommend it.
Whoa. I think literary biopics are a tough sell, period. And this one suffers especially because of the comparison to the material that the bard himself would craft. It's such a self-aggrandizing, meandering, seemingly 9-hour movie. I was dying.
So Shakespeare didn't have an ego?
No, it's just that why do I need to watch a movie about him rather than just watch his plays?
Well, I'm more on Bill's side than yours, Lisa. I think that it's fine to watch it, but it's a little bit flat. And Judi Dench has the greatest part, really. She's really anointed him for going off to get famous and leaving them behind. And when she's on screen, it livens up, and you realize how the rest of it is a little flat.
I'm kind of with Lisa. I think the acting is good. I think Judi Dench is good. I think Kenneth Branagh is good, even though he's buried under all those prosthetics. But it's very slow moving. And you know, it's interesting. It's called All Is True, but it's all speculation. We don't know if any of this is true. And I think if you're a Shakespeare buff, you might find this an interesting kind of fantasy. But, you know, you got to be a real hardcore Shakespeare
Or you'd
guy.
be offended, which is what this Shakespeare
I don't know. I'm with you. I thought it was dull.
I think it's to be.
Well, anyway, I sat down with Kenneth Branagh to talk about All Is True. Let's take a look. Kenneth, you love Shakespeare. I mean, you've played so many different Shakespearean roles. Now you're actually playing Shakespeare. Is this a dream come true for you?
It is something of a dream come true because part of my kind of crusade and passion has been to share enthusiasm about how sort of human I think Shakespeare is and how directly he talks to us. So it seemed like the ultimate way of doing that was to present him in as human and humane and humorous a way as possible. So All Is True was the fulfillment of that. Yeah.
Moving on, The White Crow is the story of legendary Russian ballet dancer Rudolf Nureyev with a concentration on his attempts to defect to the West in 1961 despite the KGB's efforts to stop him. Playing Nureyev is real-life ballet dancer Oleg Ivanko, who never acted before this film, and it was directed by Ralph Fiennes, who also plays Nureyev's mild-mannered teacher Alexander Pushkin. We see Nureyev's rise from humble beginnings to become one of the stars of the heralded Soviet ballet company. He's a moody genius who has anger fits, is mean to people he's closest to, and longs for freedom so that he can pursue his art his way. Bill, what do you think of this movie?
Look, this is a good movie, not great. I mean, it's interesting because, as Fiennes has said, he was more interested in young Nureyev when he became young and then wanted to defect. I don't know that much about the guy, so I wanted to know more, so it left me a little wanting.
Biopics about artists are hard to make compelling, and this one is not compelling. I mean, the subject here is chilly and distant and supercilious, and the film team seems to take its...
Supercilious.
Yep, it's a $10 word for you, Neil. The film seems to take its sort of tonal cues from that. I'm not a fan.
I thought it was okay. I didn't love it. I thought the dancing was great, and I wish there was more of it. The guy who plays Nureyev is
Oleg Ivanko.
He's a first-time actor, and
couldn't tell.
He's a much better dancer than he is an actor. But Ralph Fiennes, as his teacher, I thought gives a really great sort of understated performance. There's stuff to like in here, especially the dancing scenes.
I think Oleg Ivanko is a first-time actor. I thought he was terrific. I thought the thing was interesting. I learned a lot about Nureyev, and when it becomes a thriller at the end, when he's trying to, escape and defect, and having a lot of problems, I thought it was a good thriller. So I do recommend the film. And I sat down with Ralph Fiennes to talk about The White Crow. Let's take a look at that interview. If I'm not mistaken, this is your third directorial effort. So out of all the stories that you could have told, why did you choose to tell this one?
I came across the story of the young Rudolf Nureyev when I read the first chapters of a new biography about 20 years ago. And it stayed with me. At that time, I had no conscious desire to direct, and I think I've been moved by this story of a young Russian boy's determination to realize themselves as a dancer coming from a very poor background in central Russia with a sort of really strong, almost messianic desire to become an artist, a performing artist, a dancer. When I first read the description of his defection at Le Bourget Airport, I just thought, this is a film.
Earlier this year, we took a look at movies that deal with the world of comedians. One of those films was Top 5 with Chris Rock. Check it out. I like Top 5 from 2014.
Yeah, because you're in it.
Yes, I am. Well, aside from me being in it, Chris Rock plays this former stand-up comedian who's now in this horrible franchise film series called Hammy the Bear, and now he wants to be taken seriously and do a dramatic movie called Uprise. Aside from me being in it, Adam Sandler is in it, and Cedric the Entertainer is in it, and Rosario Dawson is in it. And here, take a look at me in it right now. Your upcoming marriage is getting more press than this movie. I mean, I'm watching like television, everybody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about this.
Can we talk about the movie?
We did that, really?
What's really weird about this is I played a journalist at a press day.
That is
just
weird.
Saw.
How'd you pull journalist off?
Interviewing Chris Rock playing a fictitious comic. Right. Then I did the actual press day of the movie Top 5, where I'm myself and I'm interviewing Chris Rock as himself, talking about the movie. It was what's the word, meta that you use generally?
It was meta.
What do the kids say, meta?
What do those kids say in English theory classes?
So they're talking Oscar on this thing. Can you believe it?
Ah, please, Neil, come on.
No, I'm talking about my performance.
Yes, your performance.
I was talking about my
performance.
performance.
Your performance is Oscar-worthy.
When we did this movie, we improvised for like 20 minutes.
Yes, we did.
And I was kind of like acting as the straight man. I was setting you up with lines, and you had a lot of funny responses. And when I saw the movie, none of those responses made it into the movie.
There's basically 2 cuts in the movie, and we figured out that when you take out the sillier things, the movie got better. So yeah, there's a lot of real funny stuff with us being interviewed, but it was just too silly, some of it. It was like, yeah, who's gonna sing at the wedding? Let's see, Kool and the Gang.
Right, I remember
Destiny's
that.
Child with both Beyoncés. Like.
Well, that's all the time we have. As I mentioned at the top of the show, every movie we discussed is available to stream in the comfort of your home to help pass the time in this time of crisis. We'll be back next month with a brand new show, where along with my panel, we'll debate what's worth watching and what's not when it comes to new releases, hidden gems, and Hollywood classics. Stay well, everybody. I'm Neil Rosen. Join us next time on Talking Pictures.